To the Town of Newmarket podcast, Newmarket, VA. I'm Chris Rinker, the Chief of Police. Also here is
Amber Smoot, the Events and Marketing Director.
And later, shortly, we have a special guest. Mayor Bompiani is here. But just to get started, we welcome you to the Town of Newmarket, Newmarket, VA podcast. So about, Amber, a month ago, we as in I had a brainstorm to have a podcast. I actually texted Amber on a Friday night, and said my idea, and let's make it happen. And through the last month, here we are. And it has not been easy.
Definitely not.
We're trying to figure out the equipment, but thanks to our local IT vendor, Frank with VTG, and a few other good people, here we are. We have our equipment and a local sponsor, ATL Farms in Newmarket. We're very grateful for them to sponsor our podcast. So they paid for our equipment. It's kind of fancy. It's a little overwhelming, too.
We'll get used to it.
We will. But when we brought this idea to Mr. Walters, the town manager, he was all about it. And some of the goals we have is to pass how great Newmarket, Virginia is to our listeners, and hopefully give you some information that you didn't know about us and promote Newmarket. So, Amber, do you want to talk about what you do here for the town of Newmarket?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, welcome everybody to our new podcast. We're really excited to be able to host this and get some new information out to everybody's listening ears and know what's going on. So as I said, I'm the Events and Marketing Director here for Newmarket, and I get to plan all the really cool things that we have going on. There are some other organizations that do host some events, but for me, I help host like Crossroads and Jam and Foods Fest, and work with other organizations here in town and the school for things like the community Easter egg hunt that's coming up. And those are the kind of things that we want to bring to everybody's attention during the podcast and let people know when they're happening and how they can join in on the fun and when they'll be. So
nice. So Crossroads, I'm always excited about that. Are we having Crossroads?
Absolutely. Crossroads Music Fest is going into its 7th year this year. If you have not come and attended any of the concerts, I encourage you to do so. It is free because we have some amazing local sponsors that sponsor the whole event. So it is free for attending, and it's located at the beautiful Rebel Park here in Newmarket. So we are excited to have this event back.
It's always a great time for me and to take my family and enjoy a good food truck. There's always a tough choice when it comes to the food trucks, but just to have a good dinner, bring a blanket, chairs, hang out in the outfield, my kids run around. It's low key, but it's always a good end to the week for me to enjoy some good music. Most of the bands are kind of local to the region, right? We have
Yes.
Harrisonburg or and such, but so one of the other goals is outreach of events and information from Newmarket, but what other avenues are we currently using in Newmarket?
We have several different ways that we are trying to reach out to the community, not just Newmarket citizens, but surrounding communities as well, and our tourists. So we do have Facebook. The town of Newmarket has a Facebook page. We also have Instagram and Twitter, and we mail out newsletters every month. Those are very important to read if you get those, because there's information in there. And our website, you can go to our website, and under announcements, there's things. We have festivals and events lined up there as well. We have an e-newsletter, so if you don't want to get paper mail, then you can always sign up for our e-newsletter that comes once a month. And we're also looking into different ways that we can communicate, such as this podcast, but being able to notify you immediately when things are going on, such as water, like a water interruption service, if there's repairs that need to be made and water will be turned off. So we're looking into those avenues, just any way that we can get information out there to our citizens, just to make it easier for everybody involved.
And with that being said, we're going to try to do this podcast monthly, and pass out events and information that we know ahead of time. Now, we can't tell you about a water main break in April, but let's hope there's not any. But special events or meetings that we're having here, we're getting into the budget time. We're just starting that process with administration. But other events that we can pass along, that's the goal, too, with the podcast. And another goal we have is to educate the citizens and other communities about how our local government works. Currently, we have 20 full-time positions, I think. We're pretty close to that. We're definitely at 19. Within the next month, we'll be at 20. And we'll have a guest speaker probably in April that we'll introduce.
I can guarantee there will be a special guest speaker.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to that person coming on board and joining our team. So the administration, the town manager is Mr. Todd Walters. He kind of oversees the day-to-day operations for the town, and then we have a treasurer, Miss Teresa Green, and then the executive assistant is Miss Donna Lohr, and then a full-time clerk, for say, is Miss Lindsay Kipps. Congrats, Lindsay, on your new baby. And then we have a part-time clerk, Miss Denise, and then the PD is 6 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees. We are a full operation police department, and hopefully my role at the podcast will be to pass out any trends that we're seeing, even though they're going to be a few weeks late, but that'll be some tips. And Amber does a good job with sharing those driving safety tips and crime tips on Facebook. So if you're not following us on Facebook, please give us a like or a thumbs up on Instagram and Twitter. That's important for us. But to go back to the dynamics, I guess, of the town, then we have our public works department that's kind of broke into 2 groups. You have the maintenance department, which is 5 or 6 full-time men that takes care of all of our maintenance needs, and they're working in the park. They're doing water sewer line repairs, which in the last 3 weeks, those guys have really worked hard and had some water leaks and replaced the sewer line on John Sevier Road that they've had on their radar for a while. They do stay busy, and spring is coming about, and during spring they put down, I think, 50, 60 yards of mulch through town, which is like a half of a tractor and trailer load. And that's not in one day. They're doing that over a week or a couple weeks span because they have a water leak that pops up or a sewer line that pops up. Those guys do work hard, and then over the winter they work some long hours cleaning our streets. I know Amber and I and the mayor greatly appreciate their work and effort, and it's long days and long nights, but they do work hard and do a good job. And then you have the water department. Johnny Griggs supervises that, and there's 2 gentlemen there under him that make sure that we have water at all town residents and a few out-of-town accounts. But Johnny checks the quality of water, produces water, and then at the sewer plant. And we're a tight-knit bunch here, and I guess I'm losing track of where I'm at, but there's no better place than Newmarket, Virginia. I mean that, and I'm open about that. But we are a tight group, and everyone cares about the town of Newmarket and how that goes.
I'm going to just say ditto to all that. No, but seriously, working for the town of Newmarket is great. Everybody here works really well together. We all just kind of bounce ideas off each other. I mean, just like this podcast. I mean, here Chris and I are working on it together, and we work really close, all of us. So feel very blessed to be here in the town of Newmarket. So I hope everybody really enjoys this podcast. Once a month, you can meet us here and get some information, a little lowdown on what we got going on here in Newmarket.
And we're going to, our first guest speaker is the mayor this month. But the goal is to bring in local businesses, new businesses, existing businesses, to have them come in and talk to you about their business. You know, we have multiple businesses in town. We have some new ones, the Buttercup. But that's the goal, is to promote our local businesses through that, which we're almost at lunchtime, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to have today. I don't know what it's going to be, but it could be the Jackson's Corner, maybe Southern Kitchen, maybe Kathy's. It's always a tough choice, but I don't even know what the special is at Cafe today, but we'll figure it out. And then other local businesses, the Home Store, John Henry's, and hopefully we get some new businesses too. But that's the goal with the podcast.
So with the businesses, just an FYI, St. Patrick's Day is next week, and there are several businesses downtown that are working together, and they will be promoting some specials during St. Patrick's Day. So check out the Town of Newmarket's Facebook page. We will be sharing their specials and what they have going on, to go down there and check it out and grab some good deals.
I didn't know about that, so I'm looking forward to that. Another thing that you will probably see in the next week or so, and maybe you've already noticed it if you're on social media or following us on the town's website, but we started a rebranding process, I don't know, a year ago. And through that process, Amber and everyone involved has worked super hard, and we have a new brand, a new logo that we're super proud of. So last week we got that new logo on all the public works vehicles. So if you're passing those guys in town, you're going to see a different logo on the door. We still have a lot of work to do, and we're still getting there. But you're going to start to, I guess really next week, the public works guys are going to be putting up the new banners downtown. And you'll see the banner with the new logo on it.
This new logo, I am just in love with it because it really captures a fresh new face for Newmarket. And, you know, it has that wonderful background on it of showing the Gap, which we are very known for. Everybody knows the Gap, and it's just it's beautiful. So we are excited about this new logo and putting just a new, fresh spin on marketing Newmarket, and just coming up with some new things and fun ideas. And
so if you're a local business owner and you would like to incorporate the new logo into your business promotion or whatever, is there a process? Do they need to call you? Is there some information they need before they use that?
Yeah, actually, we would encourage businesses to use our logo because we want to get it out there, and the more people that are using it, the better. But we do have guidelines on those just to keep it consistent throughout and making sure the message is clear. And what you can do is, I'm getting ready to, it's going to be on our website. It's a logo usage guideline form, and you'd fill it out and get approved for whatever project it is that you're doing and how you use it. So you'd have to go through the town to do that, but it's a very simple process of getting it. You get a choice of the different types of logos that you could use, and learn how to use them properly. So,
okay, nice. One other thing that just came to my mind is back at the beginning of COVID, we had to stop because of guideline restrictions was attendance to council meetings, and we started to do some of those virtually. And we are open to guests for the town council meetings, and maybe the mayor and I can talk about this when he comes on in just a few moments here. But we have a YouTube page, and we are streaming our council meetings, which our council meetings are the third Monday of every month, on YouTube. And you can find our page on there. It's like Town of Newmarket, Virginia, I think. And we have previous meetings on there. But that is one thing that we started doing, I guess, really probably back in October, November. My time frame's running. But, well, let's bring in our guests, if we don't mind. And with us today is Mayor/Dr. Larry Bompiani. Welcome to our first podcast, Newmarket, VA. We appreciate you and coming in and spending some time with us.
Yeah, Chief, I appreciate it. Amber, all this energy that the thought-provoking ideas that you all have come up with. I know that this is going to be a hit. What a way to get back to the citizens, the behind the scenes, let them into what the town does, both on the staff side as well as on the council side. So I'm just honored that you all asked me to be the first one. Appreciate it.
thank you for coming. We're excited to have you. You always come to the table with lots of ideas and new things and the growth of Newmarket, which is wonderful to see. And you're always so receptive and open to the citizens in the community.
Well, thank you.
As the mayor.
I appreciate that. I hope that people will learn as they get to know me that I'm one of them. I'm nobody better. I'm not worse, but I'm not better either. So I just hope that the citizens understand that I'm available, that if they have concerns, questions, they can reach me. I am approachable.
So I guess tell us a little bit about how long you've been in Newmarket, and then, well, let's just start there. How long have you been in Newmarket?
Yeah, I moved here in 2012. We bought the old bed and breakfast over on 211 East that used to be Mr. Newland's home place. And so we've been remodeling it ever since. It's been a project.
Well, I know just riding by it multiple times and talking to you, I know you've done a lot of work, and it looks really, really nice.
Well, thank you.
So what brings you to local government? I know that you first were elected to council 2 years ago.
That's correct. Yeah.
In Newmarket.
Yes. Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. So again, probably to start that background is I never was in government. I mean, in my fraternity, I was president of the fraternity, but I don't consider that a government. It was just controlling to not get too far out of hand, maybe. But then coming here from Pennsylvania, moving here, my practice is in Harrisonburg, Virginia, since 1980. But there was a time that I moved to Elkton, and that's when I actually first got into government, became mayor there in 2008, and eventually married my present wife, and she moved me to Timberville and then to Newmarket. And so once I left Elkton as being mayor, just saw that this town has so much potential here and so many hardworking people, and decided to get involved with it as well as on council.
Oh, we appreciate that. So you were on council member for 2 years and then elected as mayor.
Correct.
What are some things that you like to do besides work on your house all the time?
Well, between the fact of working at my office and working on the house, there's not a lot of time left over, especially when donating it and then coming to work for the town itself. So as far as sports, I'll say some sports with that, kayaking on that beautiful Shenandoah River. My wife and I enjoy heading over that way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, being part of the community with different events. Amber, again, can't say enough, as a marketing director of, with the Crossroads, with the, like you said, the Easter egg hunt coming up, and the Halloween and the 4th of July, and there's just so many things that go on here in this town. For a small town to have as many activities as it does, I don't know if people outside this area realize just how blessed we are.
I mean, I always tell everyone that, to me, there's no better place than Newmarket. Being here for over 21 and a half years as a full-time employee, and then when I was a kid, we worked the summers in the maintenance department for 3 or 4 years. So basically, I've spent more than half of my life working for the town of Newmarket. And there's just no better place. And there's some people that aren't familiar with what we have, what we do. So hopefully this podcast is giving us another avenue and bringing more people to Newmarket and attending all the special events and awesome events that Amber puts on and puts a lot of work into. So, Mayor, what are some goals or hopes and dreams for Newmarket that you may have? And I guess one thing that I want to say is I appreciate your support for the town employees and the police department. I see it and I hear it from you, and I appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
Well, thanks, Chris. Just speaking of town staff, seeing it in Elkton and seeing it here, I've always said that people need to work the other person's job one day to fully appreciate what that person goes through. Job may look easy. I don't care if it's out in the public section or the private. Everybody has their own challenges. And so when you come and get involved with the town on a council, you start to see just how much takes place behind the scenes that the citizens a lot of times just take for granted. They may drive by and see somebody standing for the moment, but they don't see the extra hours that people go after their shift is over and still doing work for the town. Or what I've seen with the staff collaborating, just like what you brought up in the very beginning, of everybody pitching in. You need help with this, I'll be pitching in, I'll jump in with it. I appreciate that. Just like that with the reverse Christmas parade this year and the decorations in the park for the first time. That was beautiful. And people need to understand that was work, idea coming up and being put into action. That's great.
Yeah, we definitely wear multiple hats here.
By far. I have so many hats.
Without a doubt.
And that's okay. I mean, we all have that same mindset that, it's about the town of Newmarket, and we care about the Newmarket. But, perfect example here, the police chief is helping do a podcast. Like, that's a little out of my comfort zone and definitely out of my wheelhouse, but we're going to learn this.
Sometimes you can come in here and I might be taking water payments depending on if somebody has a family emergency and they got to step out, or weather doesn't allow for people to come in. I'll step out of my office and come up front. It might take me a hot minute to get you squared away, but it'll get done. But I'm happy to help. So, going back to that reverse Christmas parade, that still makes me smile. I was really impressed at the quickness, the fast, turnaround. This whole past year, I think we've all learned that things change, and you're going to have to embrace that to a certain extent. And last year with the reverse parade, I think we did just that, and it worked out really well. It was beautiful. We had, over 500 cars come through the park? How awesome was that? And it was, that's people from different communities and people from our community here. It was beautiful. It was wonderful, and we hope to keep continuing that and adding on. But just to be able to flip that around and do something different and think outside the box is great. And
Amber, that's what, again, the citizens need to understand is that a lot of these events people are planning, like the 4th of July starts the year before, the planning for that event community in the park. And so to put all that work into it and then have a situation like COVID come up and just wipe out those plans, and you have to change at the last moment. And that's exactly what I understood with the reverse Christmas parade was within like 2 weeks of the parade, are we having it or not? And then all of a sudden having the information from the governor's office come down, then you all came up with that reverse Christmas parade, and to have it turn out that way, that was just excellent. So I agree with you. I smile very much about that.
Yep.
That was one of the. I mean, I always say that Crossroads is my favorite town event. All of them. I'm a huge fan of that, and brings our community together. And we also get other people from other communities, but the whole Tis the Season event this year was different for us, but that was a lot of work, and a lot of people had different hands in the pot, I guess, to make that happen. Public Works putting on I don't know the number of Christmas lights that we got by the bulb count.
A lot.
But
a lot.
Yeah, it was. Every pavilion had Christmas lights and trees, and it's funny that the mayor said we talk about that in a year in advance. We just talked about it at staff meeting this morning, that we need to do some things to prepare for that, and think about what if we're going to add more lights, which we have a good foundation there. It's I think we're going to try to build on it maybe.
And, Chris, in speaking of that, as the event and the Crossroads, I mean, with 4 of them in a year, as a great community event, people outside the community coming for the 4th of July, people from outside the town coming in, the campers that are here vacationing that come to Newmarket to take part, to use our park and recreation, to come to the Rebels and the Shockers baseball games. One of my goals is to grow the town. We want to grow. We can't keep on saying we wish we had a grocery store, we wish we had a pharmacy, all those things we wish for without having rooftops. And in order to get rooftops, we have to have landowners want to sell their property to develop in an organized, controlled manner. I know growth is scary to some people, but we can't keep staying in the past and wishing for other things. And part of the growth has to be these events, because in order for a young family to want to come and live in Newmarket, they want these events of what can we do with our children here. So as we're developing these events, we're able to use that as a foundation to attract more people to come here and live in this town.
Nice. Speaking of young families and something to do, I noticed yesterday, which, I don't know if I said the date, but today's March the 9th, and it's supposed to be 70 degrees. But don't forget about our park, how awesome our park is. And at staff meeting, we already talked about opening the pool up. But we invest into our park. I'm a little biased, but I think it's the nicest park in Shenandoah County and maybe even Rockham County. And there's other people that would challenge me on that, but that's okay. It's open basically early morning till 10 o'clock at night. Our basketball courts are lighted at a small 25-cent fee, I think.
Yeah.
If you want to go play basketball in the evening, you got to take some quarters to make that happen. But we have a walking trail that if you stay on the outside is 0.6 of a mile. So 2 laps is a little over a mile, but every, it's 20-some workout stations there.
I think that's about it.
And they are resistance, so your weight makes it a little tougher or a little easier, whichever.
So essentially you're working against your own weight.
That's right. And they're for any age. And we have, over the last several years, updated those. We went from the old wooden 4x4 post and metal.
Which were great for as long as they were in use.
Yeah, they
Time for an
definitely
upgrade.
definitely met their needs. I always like to go up there after work or on Saturdays or Sundays and go for a walk.
So real quick, we don't just have basketball courts. We also have some great tennis courts and all of these actually got an upgrade, updated and sealed, new paint and stuff, probably like 2 years ago, but they look amazing. And we also have, which a lot of people don't know, pickleball. Do you know how to play pickleball?
I've never even
Mayor?
played it. Nope, not at all.
Okay, so we have a certified pickleball player that can teach people right here in town. And so we were trying to do pickleball classes last spring, but with COVID, that got canceled, unfortunately. But we're looking at bringing it back. So if you're interested in playing pickleball, we do have an awesome court up there. And we do have a, I'll say, not licensed, but somebody who is big into pickleball that lives here in Newmarket and really wants to teach people. So
fantastic. And, again, and speaking of the park, I know that we've had a lot of interest from citizens wanting to have a dog park. So it'll be interesting what we can do, how we can incorporate that, whether at the present location of the park or if we have to find some place within the town.
Have you been reading my to-do list?
I try not to I try not to because it's so laborious, and you're always that energetic person of thinking outside the box.
I don't know what chapter that is in my book of to-dos, but it's there.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's why I say that we as a community, we do have a lot of input. We have a lot of people with positive ideas. There's negatives out there, and we understand that. When we take our position, whether it be on town staff or on council, we understand that we got to take the good and the bad. And, some of the more recent concerns, if I can just kind of jump into that, is
Absolutely.
Our sidewalks, as far as sidewalks down along Clicks Lane and sidewalks down to 211. I tried to use the newsletter to try to bring some of this to the citizens, but this is an excellent way right here to bring that up, and that's, the cost of the sidewalks. People don't understand. I didn't understand, what all goes into having the sidewalks engineered and taken down 211. 211's sidewalk from Congress Street down to the dollar store is, you're talking $350,000 to $400,000. We have a grant that's been agreed to by VDOT. But with VDOT's restrictions, they have us in the list for could take up to 2025 before that gets implemented. But at least it'll pay for half of that. Clicks Lane, again, definitely a need, but we do have that 100 acres that's up for sale, and we try to work with a future developer to pay for some of the sidewalk along that property so that the town doesn't have to take that burden on there. We are a small town. We have limited budget. We have to live within that budget, and that's where we will come up with ideas, but we do need to grow the town to share the cost, to have more people help pay for these things.
Nice. We're heading there. It's just we have to get there, and
it's frustrating.
The vision is there. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's worth noting that you're talking about sidewalks, and we have a vision, but not just a vision. There are irons in the fire, and sometimes it just takes a little bit longer, and it's not anything that we are doing. We put those irons in the fire, but then we're waiting for somebody else from we work with so many other companies, organizations to get these things accomplished, and sometimes it's a process.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of those, like I said, irons in the fire, and we are getting things done. So just know that we are working for you all. We are getting things done.
Well said. The mayor mentioned that he is open, basically has an open door policy. If you want to reach the mayor, you can reach him. You can leave a message at the town office, 540-740-3432, or you can email him at l.bompiani@newmarketvirginia.com, and Virginia spelled out. But
that's also on our website
Yep.
under Town Council Members section.
Good
Their
job,
information is right there for you as well. So you don't have to worry about listening to this while you're driving down the road. Don't write. Just go on our website and check it out.
And Amber and Chief, to make it even a step further, to say that I'm not above anybody, I'm here for them, my personal email is lbomp30@gmail.com. So however I can be in touch with people.
I know this just because I see him here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And occasionally he brings us some sweet treats from a local establishment on West Oak Cross, the Dunkin' Donuts.
Is that a hint that I haven't brought them for a while?
That is a hint you have not brought them. It's been a few weeks, I think, unless I was gone and they were here and I didn't see them. But
or we just didn't share.
Yeah, or we didn't share. That could be a possibility. So, and Mayor, unless you have anything else to say, I think we wrap this up. You have anything?
Again, just I'm enthusiastic. I'm a positive thinker. I don't like what I call stinking thinking. I'll hear it. I'll listen to it. But, my comment a lot of times is we have to have more fire than other people do water. We got to think outside the box. And we want to grow the town. Again, when you think about it, from Harrisonburg to Strasburg, there is no other cut across the Massanutten Mountain than Newmarket here with the Crossroads at 211. We have opportunities to grow this community, and that's scary in a way to grow, but as long as citizens keep on giving us the input and being in touch with us, we are not going to just change this community. We want to make it even stronger, more powerful, especially for families. And so anyway, I'm open for those ideas and conversation. So,
okay, good stuff.
And again, just to say thank you guys very much. I mentioned this to another mayor, and this podcast, the idea of it, he was super excited. A second mayor I was talking to, and he too says, let me know how this goes, because it's a great way to come up with stuff to explain to the citizens. So I think you guys have lit the match.
Okay.
Well, thank you. We're excited.
We are excited.
To keep this going. Something new, something different. Adding another avenue of communication. And before we sign off here, this is the month of March, and we have a couple things going on this month. We have the Community Easter Egg Hunt that's coming March 27th, and that is held in the Newmarket Community Park. You want to arrive around 9 o'clock in the morning. The hunt will start at 9:30. I have the pleasure of working with the the Stonewall Jackson Interact Club, which is in conjunction with the Newmarket Rotary on this project. So we host this yearly. We didn't get to last year, so we're happy to have it back. But show up at the park March 27th, 9 o'clock. Hunt starts at 9:30. They will also have take-home crafts for you for the kids. That there is, limited supplies available, but we will have crafts for them to take home. The Easter Bunny will be showing up and saying hi and hanging out with everybody. So come on down. That's for ages 1 to 10. Ages 1 to 10 for that. And, if this gets on here before the weekend, if we get it posted, daylight savings time, y'all, is on Sunday. It's on Sunday. What is that? Is that March 14th? What's this?
Should be.
Yeah, March
Monday's
14th.
The 15th.
So, next Monday we're going to have a lot of sleepy heads on Monday morning. So drink your coffee, drink your tea. Make sure you go to bed early on Sunday.
So I think we're just going to wrap it up here. Thanks for joining our podcast, Newmarket VA. I think it is. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Talk Newmarket VA. I didn't just make something up, did I?
No, you didn't.
But please share this.
We wake up human, y'all. We wake up human.
Please share this. Share this. Our goal was to be at 30 minutes, and I would like to tell you all we're right at 40. we had no idea. Like, it was just moving right along. I feel like we just sat down. But, again, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, New Market, Virginia, virginiaspelledout.com. And,
YouTube.
Oh, yeah, YouTube. Please like our YouTube channel. The next council meeting is next Monday at 6:30. We do ask at this point that if you don't feel comfortable coming to the council meeting, that you email Mr. Todd Walters at t.walters@newmarketvirginia.com for any citizens' comments. And then Mr. Walters will be sure to get that to the mayor. Actually, the mayor will call on Todd to see if there's any comments or for the meeting. But thanks for having us. Please visit our downtown, our restaurants. Get you a cup of Joe from Jackson's Corner and visit John Henry and the Buttercup. And the shrimp special at Southern Kitchen on Friday nights is a good meal. So thank you for your time and for sharing the Talk New Market VA.